Hello, the game is Satisfactory. This is a builder game, and it's pretty good. So I just wanted to make a video about it in case my subscribers were not aware of it and may be interested in it. So my kid brought this to my attention. I guess he was watching some YouTube videos and seen it and liked it and wanted to play it. So he bought a copy with his birthday money, and I bought a copy so I could play with him. And he didn't play it for too long, not very long at all. So I'm hoping we'll still play. And I just started playing myself. I think this is my first world. I'm at 5.5 hours in so far. So really just scratching the surface on this game. But basically, it's a game where you slowly start building more complex productions. So for example, this is a miner here that I put down to mine copper, and that will then go along these conveyor belts that I set down into a storage container just for overflow. As you can see, the storage container is already maxed out, and then it'll go into this smelter, which will produce copper ingots, which will then go into another storage container. I always put storage containers in between. I don't know why. I'm still learning the game. I don't know if that's a good idea or not to have that overflow storage container, if it would actually matter. I'd imagine I should, since this is overflowing, I should probably put like a splitter coming off of this storage and going into two smelters, and then having those smelters combine into a storage, since storages I don't think have a bottleneck as to what they can accept, and then having, see how this is jammed up here? I should probably put a splitter going off into two productions. So this is a production machine, a constructor. He's taking the ingots and making spools. It's sending those spools down. I got the spools going off into a splitter into two different storages, which are empty. So that means by splitting them, the next line of construction is fine. So then I got this constructor making cable out of the copper wire. And then, I don't know why, like I said, I always put storage containers, they're probably unneeded. And then I have all this production, so I got concrete, ingots. I have all this production running up to my main base area. As you can see, everything's kind of spaghetti together. That's what everybody's been calling it when you make a big jumbled mess of spaghetti. But I got it all coming into my containers that are sorting it out, and then I have little collection containers right next to my base. So this is what I see, you know, I come up here and craft at my base, and when I need something I can just grab, you know, screws, copper wire, wire, cable, and it's pretty neat. I'm really having fun enjoying the game building. It has a nice progression system, so like, you know, it's not very overwhelming. Within 5 hours, excuse me, I've learned how to do all this. No problem. It's a pretty nice progression system that kind of eases you into everything step by step, and by the time you've figured out what the next piece of machinery is, you're really ready to ramp it up and get on to the next piece of machinery. So the world's very beautiful. You know, I'm on some alien world here. Waterfalls and crazy animals. There are some things that attack you, they get a kind of hit, but there's very little combat so far. It runs really nice. As you can see up in the corner here, I got 60 frames per second. I have that limited, so it matches my my hertz on my monitor. Let me see, options. Video. Yeah, so I got my VSync on, which, as you know, does take a hit. I have my monitor's resolution. I have everything on ultra except for foliage, which just cuts down the amount of this stuff. With the foliage all the way up, there's just a lot of that stuff. I personally just don't like the way that looks. I was never really big on foliage on the ground, but other than that, it didn't take any performance hit whatsoever. I was getting high frames per second. I just decided to VSync it since it performs so well, which for as nice as the game looks and as detailed as everything is, I mean, look at my boots. My boots are awesome looking. You know, for as detailed as the game is and how much you have going on, it's running pretty nice. I was just about to build a space station, so I figured let me do that. So I have all my stuff on this platform out here, this plateau, I guess. and I was just going to put the space station like in here someplace, just so I could see it. I'm sorry, not space station, space elevator. So here's like some of the things you can make: constructors, miners, smelters. You know, for power, you got a biomass burner, which turns into a whole thing. I have a whole biomass, so you collect leaves and wood as you're running around, and then you could just burn them. When you first start off, you'll be burning that. And then where's my biomass maker? Right here. What I do is I could put, I forget which is which, that's leaves. Excuse me. So I could put leaves in here, and we'll start pumping out leaves, and this will turn the leaves into biomass, and then it'll shoot it up and combine it into this container, where this one will then take the biomass and turn it into biomass fuel. And I have that one coming up and splitting that into 2 containers. And then I'll have my biomass fuel here, and then you can take the biomass fuel and stick it into your biomass burners, which are your generators. When I started this, I put 200 in here, and as you can see, it's only at 147 because it only uses what you need. And since I have so many of these, I have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 running, and not too much production going. As you can see, my energy consumption is rather low. I got 220 capacity, and I'm only using 55-ish at a time, so that's why the fuel's burning low. Lot of detail there. Anyway, let me get this space elevator up and kind of show you what it's like to build something. The building is, one thing I like about the building is when you build something, you can also deconstruct it, and as you can see, it tells you what you get when you deconstruct it. Basically, you lose nothing. So once you build something, you never lose those materials. So if you don't like the spacing, placing, whatever, you just rip it down, reorganize, and you get all the materials back. Even the, as you can see, it says 97 ore. That's even the ore inside of it will automatically be counted and put into your inventory. Even when you're deconstructing a pole, as you can see, it's got 4 wires. That's because there's power lines attached to it. So when I deconstruct that, those power lines are going to disappear, and it'll give you them back. So it's very smart and intuitive. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just kind of destroy what you want. You can, you know, select multiple things to destroy and let me not destroy my whole base. Hit the wrong button, all that stuff would go bloop. So it's very nice for building. And to build something, let's go ahead and do the space thing again. I think I'm going to stick it right over here. Yeah, so this is huge. Takes a lot of materials, but I have it all in my inventory. And I don't know if it needs a lot of room. I've never used this thing, but I'm just going to kind of put it there. And that's it. That's how you build. And it just kind of throws all your material at it from your inventory, builds it up. Pretty cool. And I can deconstruct that if I wanted to. And it would put all that inventory back into my, all that material back into my inventory. Alright, looks like it's got some outputs down there. Oh, nice. What's that spaceship coming down? So I have no idea what this thing does. I know it's like a milestone or whatever, you know, something important to the game, but maybe I shouldn't have put it down there. I'll have to build some ramps. Like I said, it's very easy to build in this game. It's just about production, resources. Alright, let's see what this thing does. Smart planting? Smart plating, sorry. So I guess I gotta start making more advanced stuff now to get this thing going. But so far I'm having a lot of fun. So this is my limestone miner. Pulled out this limestone node, and that'll go over and make. Yeah, you can even pull the stuff off the conveyor belt if you wanted to. But this conveyor belt will go up to my manufacture machine, my construction machine, whatever you call it, constructor, and that'll make concrete for me, and then I'll spit that concrete out into my storage back up on my base. This is my... I originally had a base right here, but I realized this little area, which I thought was going to be big enough, was nowhere near big enough. Like, this stuff expands out like crazy. I could definitely see building bases that encompass the world. What little I did look at the internet, I see there's like trains and all kinds of crazy... What did I put here? I must have a foundation there. I guess you could have trains and railways for supplies and stuff like that. It's pretty neat. So I just wanted to make a quick video, kind of just showing the game. Maybe some of my subscribers haven't seen it, might be interested in it. It's a very, I've never played Factorio, but it's a very Factorio-ish game, except in 3D instead of 2D. One tip starting out, these flowers, you pick them up, you get leaves and flower petals. Now, I haven't found a real use for flower petals yet, but you can burn them as fuel. So what I was doing was burning the leaves and wood at first and saving the flower petals. Burn the flower petals first. I hope I'm not telling you wrong. I hope the flower petals aren't important later. But burn the flower petals, save the leaves and the wood for later when you can make the biomass stuff. Biomass logs, sorry. All this stuff is new to me, so I'm trying to remember what the names are. But that would be my only tip that I have for new players. And just try to find a big open spot for your when you put your first little base down this thing. Because as you can see, you're going to have a lot of stuff. And these conveyor belts cost so little. You can run miles and miles and miles of conveyor belts. So don't be afraid to, you know, put things far away. You can run miles and miles of wire. It's very cheap to run these wires, these electrical wires. So don't be afraid to kind of spread out a little bit and have a nice big area and get organized. That would kind of be my advice. What were those things called? Biomass logs? Solid biofuel. You need leaves and wood to make them, and they're the most efficient burning for the biomass burners until I guess you get a better power source, which I think if you do this you get like nuclear or something like that. But anyway, I'm rambling on now. I'm having a lot of fun. It's only been 5 hours in the game, so maybe I'll get bored of it later, but like I said, it seems very complex when you're looking at all this stuff, but to me it's not, because I played it for 3 or 4 hours and went through the process, and it does a very good job at kind of expanding it slowly, step by step, so that you can kind of understand it very easily and it's not overwhelming. It doesn't just kind of drop you in and say, hey, here you are, go build something. You know, you kind of follow this progression system via this hub. So yeah, I did tier 1, so base building, logistics, field research. Like, I just got this field research, so I don't even know what this is. Well, I get an extra slot. I can make storage boxes. I gotta mess with this ma'am. That's like some kind of researcher for materials. And now I'm on to tier 2, which is where I got the solid biofuel. I guess now I gotta do parts. Yeah, there's a smart plating, so I gotta work on this. So let me select that, and it tells me what I need over here. I guess I'll go ahead and do this real quick before I end the video. So let's see, where's my wire at? So I need 200 wire. Need no copper. I need 500 screws. I need 200 of that. I think I have that, right? I got iron ingots in here. I don't need that. I think I have it, right? There we go. So I put all the materials in there. I'm going to launch the material off.
Milestone reached. More complex assembly of parts can now be automated. Project assembly parts can now be constructed and sent up via the space elevator. Note: project parts are too complex to produce by hand.
Okay, so basically by hand. So it's saying I can make these complex parts that I'm going to need to build the space station now. So that seems to be what's going on. And when it said by hand, these little craft benches, you can create when you start out. You're crafting. Oh, what's this? Modular frame. What's that used for? When you start out, you can make everything kind of. Oh, I must have got these from doing the research. Sorry, first time I seen these power shards. For the green power slugs that I researched. So you can craft these by hand. When you first start out, you're crafting 10 iron plates, 5 iron rods. You know, very soon you're having your miners run it into your smelters, run it into your production makers, running it into a storage bin, and you don't have to do the crafting by hand. So I guess now they're kind of moving you away from that. The parts can now, for the space station or the space elevator, can no longer be crafted by hand, so they're going to start moving you away from the manually doing it. Alright, so that's about it. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much and I gave a little bit of a good overview of the game and kind of how it plays, and I'm sure it gets more advanced. Like I said, as you can see, I was only on tier 2. Trying to jump up on top here to get a good view for my sign off. But as you can see, I was only on tier 2, and look how complex it is already. So this is, if you like builder games and engineering type games, this is definitely a fun one. And it's not too, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not too punishing or tedious, you know. The building system is pretty intuitive, and, you know, you can disassemble, reassemble without having to lose anything, and you can just kind of, you know, create a big factory. What I'm having in mind is, like, right now I have everything just kind of laid out on the grass here. What I want to start doing is figuring out these foundations, and I want to see if I can build like a multi-level building so that I can utilize all of this space and have multiple stories for my production area, you know? Like maybe floor 1 is where I collect my resources to. Floor 2 can be, you know, my mass storage for raw materials. Floor 3 could be like my smelters. Floor 4 could be my production. Floor 5 could be like logistics for conveyor belts and splitters and stuff like that. You know, however I figure out I need it, but I just would like to kind of just build like a huge production factory and get all this stuff that's kind of just all laid out, put in there. But it's a lot of work, a lot of thought. I think I'm just going to play the game and figure it out, you know, unlock everything, and then work on big projects when I know what I'm doing a little bit better. But anyway, again, sorry rambling on. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you know, turn some people onto this. Maybe somebody didn't know about this game, and they're like, "Ooh, that looks interesting." I think the cost was $30. You're gonna have to look it up. It was on Steam. I don't know what other platforms. I'm a bad YouTuber. I don't do any of that research. I'm not trying to sell this game. I'm just trying to let you know, hey, there's a cool game out here, and I'm having fun with it. You know, so. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and ride my conveyor belt, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, and if you're not a subscriber, feel free to click on the subscribe button so you get my new videos. They may not be super informative all the time, but, you know, hopefully I'm bringing out new content to people that they might not have known about otherwise. I'll see you guys in the next video.